She didn't feel sad. She didn't cry or talk about being alone. She just slowed down. At first, she stopped going to the grocery store, said it was too crowded. Then she started forgetting names, not just of new neighbors, but of friends she'd known for 40 years. Her daughter thought it was normal aging. Everyone forgets sometimes, she said. But then came the silence. Long pauses in conversation. The same stories repeated. A soft, distant look in her eyes. By the time she was tested, the neurologist said something the family wasn't prepared for. Her brain is shrinking faster than normal. She's not just aging, she's disconnecting. In recent years, more and more studies have shown a chilling truth. Loneliness is not just an emotion, it is a biological threat. A threat as real as high blood pressure, as dangerous as smoking 15 cigarettes a day, especially after age 65. Why? Because your brain was never meant to be alone. The human brain is wired for connection. Every conversation, every shared laugh, every moment of feeling seen and heard feeds the mind. And when those moments disappear, the brain begins to dim from the inside out. This isn't about having hundreds of friends. It's about having someone who listens, a voice to talk to, a hand to hold. And when that's gone, even if your body still moves, your mind begins to slow, shrink, and surrender. In today's video, we're going to walk through exactly how loneliness affects the aging brain. We'll look at the biology, the symptoms, the quiet warning signs. But most importantly, we'll explore 4 real ways to fight back, even if you live alone, even if your phone never rings. Because this is not about fear. It's about hope and the truth that it's never too late to reconnect. When we talk about aging, we often focus on bones, joints, eyesight. But what most people don't realize is that the brain, more than any other organ, relies on connection to stay alive. From the moment we're born, our brains are shaped by voices, eye contact, physical presence. That doesn't stop with childhood. In fact, it becomes more essential as we get older. After age 65, the brain begins to naturally lose some volume, about 0.2 to 0.5% per year. That's normal, but recent studies show that chronic loneliness can accelerate that loss by 3 to 5 times, meaning someone who lives in deep social isolation can lose the same amount of brain volume in 2 years that others lose in 10. And it's not just about memory. Loneliness affects areas of the brain that regulate attention, decision-making, emotional control, sleep, and stress hormones. One study published in the Journal of Neuroscience used MRI scans on older adults and found that those who reported high levels of loneliness had shrinking in the hippocampus, the very center of memory formation. Another study by Brigham Young University found that loneliness increases the risk of early death by 26%, comparable to risk factors like obesity and smoking. And the culprit isn't just emotional, it's chemical. When we're lonely, the body produces more cortisol, a hormone meant to help us respond to danger. But when cortisol stays high for weeks, months, or years, it damages brain tissue. It creates inflammation, shrinks the prefrontal cortex, which controls planning and focus, and erodes neural connections, especially in older adults whose brains are already more fragile. It gets worse. Loneliness also reduces levels of BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a protein your brain needs to grow new neurons and maintain memory. With less BDNF, the brain can't repair itself. So one bad week turns into one bad month, which turns into confusion, withdrawal, and eventually, a mind that no longer recognizes its own history. Dr. Julianne Holt-Lundstad, a leading researcher in the field, said it best. Just like we have guidelines for how much sleep or exercise a person needs, we must now recognize that regular social contact is not optional. It is a biological necessity. Let that sink in. Talking to another human being regularly is as important to your health as walking or eating vegetables. And yet, in today's world, especially for seniors, social connection is vanishing. 1 in 3 adults over 65 in the U.S. now live alone. And of those, half report feeling lonely regularly. Not because they don't have people, but because the people they used to rely on are gone, moved, passed away, or simply too busy. The irony: We live in the most connected time in human history. Phones, video calls, messaging. But still, people go days without hearing their name spoken out loud. The brain doesn't care if you have Wi-Fi. It cares if you're seen. If someone listens when you speak. If you laugh, even just once a day. And when those moments disappear, your brain starts to retreat. Not because it's broken, but because it thinks you're done using it. Story 1. The silence after retirement. Mr. Allen retired at 67. At first, it felt good. No more commuting. No more emails. Just time to rest. He had a morning routine. Coffee at 7:30. A walk around the block, reading the newspaper. But slowly, the silence grew. His wife passed away 4 years earlier. His children were busy with their own families. He didn't want to bother them. So he kept to himself. Watched TV. Read the same books. Slept more. Then the forgetting started. First it was names. Then appointments. Then where he placed his house keys every single day. At a checkup, his doctor noticed he had lost weight. Blood tests were fine, but when they ran a cognitive exam, he struggled to remember common words. An MRI revealed moderate brain atrophy, worse than expected for his age. The doctor asked about his social life. Allen laughed sadly. What social life? His daughter stepped in, helped him enroll in a local men's breakfast group at the senior center. Twice a week he went, even though he said he had nothing to say. But by week 4, he was sharing stories about his military days. By month 2, his memory test scores improved. Not back to normal, but better. He smiled more, walked straighter, even started calling his grandkids regularly. I didn't realize my mind was starving, he told his doctor. I thought I just missed people. Turns out, I was missing parts of myself. Story 2. A widow's return to light. Mrs. Carolina lost her husband of 45 years unexpectedly. After the funeral, the house felt like a museum. She left his chair exactly as it was. The TV remote, his books, his hat. She didn't eat much. Just tea, toast, and whatever was easiest to microwave. She stayed in her pajamas most days. Didn't open the curtains. 6 months later, her daughter brought her to a neurologist. Carolina had started misplacing things, calling her daughter the wrong name. But tests showed something surprising. No dementia. Her scans were clear. Her blood work was fine. The diagnosis: severe emotional isolation. The doctor explained, grief and loneliness, left unchecked, can mimic dementia. And in many seniors, the difference between cognitive decline and emotional shutdown is razor thin. Her daughter began visiting every afternoon, even for just 15 minutes. They started taking walks, talking about anything, reading out loud. 3 months later, Carolina was cooking again, cleaning, laughing, not because the grief was gone, but because connection had returned. And that changed everything. Story 3. From invisible to invaluable. Mr. Lee, a retired teacher, moved to a new apartment complex after selling his home. No one knew him. He barely spoke English fluently. He spent his first year there almost entirely indoors. No family nearby. No social circle. He told himself he didn't mind. He was a loner. But his sleep worsened. He stopped shaving. His blood pressure rose. One morning, a neighbor knocked and asked if he could help fix her printer. He was hesitant, but agreed. They talked. She thanked him. He smiled for the first time in weeks. She invited him to a local community tech class to help other seniors with their phones and laptops. He went. Once, then twice, then every week. 2 years later, Mr. Lee runs a volunteer tech club for seniors. He leads Zoom workshops, helps immigrants reconnect with families abroad. He's become the guy everyone knows in the building. He tells people, I didn't need a miracle. I just needed a reason to be useful again. And that reason rewired my whole life. These stories are not unique. Across the country and the world, older adults are fading, not from disease, but from disconnection. And in each of these stories, reconnection didn't take much. A conversation, an invitation, a purpose. The brain may weaken with age, but it also responds beautifully, powerfully, to love, community, and meaning. Even after decades of silence, the mind remembers how to bloom. So what can you do if you, or someone you love, is slipping into that quiet space where days feel long, voices are rare, and the mind begins to drift inward? The good news is, you don't need a full social calendar. You don't need dozens of friends. And you definitely don't need to be outgoing. You need intentional connection. Even 2 or 3 consistent social interactions per week can protect your brain from decline. Here are 4 simple, science-backed ways to reconnect, starting today. 1. Micro-connections matter more than you think. Many people think, I don't have anyone close to talk to, so what's the point? But research shows that even brief social exchanges, a smile, a hello, a question, can reactivate parts of the brain involved in language, memory, and emotional processing. Start small. Greet your mail carrier by name. Ask your pharmacist how their day is going. Compliment someone's shirt at the grocery store. Say thank you with eye contact. These tiny moments remind your brain, I exist. I'm part of this world. I'm still connected. Don't underestimate the power of being seen. 2. Schedule weekly connection time, like medication. Just like you wouldn't skip your blood pressure pills. Don't skip connection time. Block out at least 2 slots per week, where your only goal is to engage with another human being, even briefly. Here are easy ways to do that. Phone circles. Agree with 1 to 2 friends or relatives to call each other every Monday or Friday. Same time, same number. Virtual drop-ins. Many senior centers offer Zoom meetups or Facebook Live events where you can just listen or chat. Local bulletin boards, libraries, faith centers, and community clinics often host coffee mornings, walking groups, or trivia clubs. Don't wait for the invitation. Be the one who sets the time. It's not about being extroverted. It's about being consistent. 3. Reconnect with purpose, not just people. Sometimes it's not the lack of company, it's the lack of purpose. Seniors often say, I don't want to just sit and talk. I want to matter. That's powerful and possible. Here are ways to reconnect through usefulness. Volunteer from home. Call isolated seniors through programs like AARP Friendly Voice or send birthday cards to nursing home residents. Share your knowledge. Teach grandchildren or neighbors' kids how to cook, repair things, or garden. Record short videos or write mini wisdom guides. Start a micro club. Host a weekly tea, game night, or story circle, even if it's just 2 people. The goal is not performance. It's participation. When you offer something, even something small, you invite others to step into your space, and your brain responds to that invitation too. 4. Build a connection toolkit you can use when you feel down. Loneliness creeps in fastest on rainy days, or long weekends, or after a holiday. So instead of reacting to loneliness, prepare for it. Like a flu kit, but for the heart and brain. Here's what a simple connection toolkit might include. A list of 3 people you can call anytime, no explanation needed. A small stack of handwritten letters or cards you can send when you feel invisible. A cozy connection corner at home, your favorite chair, a framed photo, a book that inspires you, a radio with human voices, a connection box, keepsakes from friends, old notes, even set memory triggers, perfume, dried herbs that bring back good moments. This isn't a magic cure, but it gives your brain something to anchor to when the silence feels heavier than usual. Remember, the opposite of loneliness isn't just company. It's belonging. It's knowing you still have a place in the world, that your voice still matters. Whether that voice is heard in a living room, a coffee shop, or over the phone, what matters is that it is heard. Loneliness doesn't knock on the door loudly. It slips in quietly, through long afternoons, unopened mail, and phone calls that never come. It doesn't shout. It whispers. And too often, the people it affects most are the ones who spent their whole lives caring for others. But here's what we often forget. You are still needed. Your stories still matter. Your presence still brings light into rooms you haven't walked into yet. The brain doesn't ask for much, just a few sparks. A voice, a question, a laugh that surprises you, a moment where someone says, "It's good to see you." And if you haven't heard that in a while, let this be it. It's good to see you. We're glad you're here. You're not invisible. If this video spoke to something in you, please, don't just watch and walk away. Comment below. Even a single word like "still here" lets others know they're not alone. Call someone today, not tomorrow. Don't wait for the perfect moment. And if you haven't yet, subscribe. Because this isn't just a health channel. It's a reminder that every day we choose connection, we choose life. You don't have to be loud. You don't have to be many. You just have to be real and willing to reach out once more. The brain doesn't want silence. It wants someone to talk to. And maybe that someone is you.